Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another year. The MCDFNL Footy Show coming back onto your computer screens for 2016. I'm Shaun Kelly in the host's chair. Once again, rumours of my demise greatly exaggerated, and I'll be back with you all season long, bringing you the MCDFNL Footy Show this season. Sitting next to me at the moment isn't Sam Gowers. Unfortunately, Sammy's just decided to have an extra week of pre-season to get himself cherry ripe for the footy show. So we've brought in AFL Victoria Football Development Manager Liam Brady. Brades, welcome to the MCDFNL Footy Show for your debut appearance.
Yeah, thanks, Shaun. Good to be on, mate. Looking forward to having a look at the round one games ahead, mate. I think it's going to be a really good season in the MCDFNL. I know that I've been following a few teams in the pre-season. And certainly some teams have been playing some pretty good footy, so looking forward to talking about round one and obviously the big game on Friday night between the Rovers and Talbot.
Yeah, it will be a big one. Before we get to that, though, let's just touch a little bit on a couple of the rotating chairs here within the AFL Goldfields offices. Yourself now in the role with AFL Victoria instead of the role with the BFUA that you've had for the past 5 or so years. You'll be in charge of the MCDFNL from a football development manager perspective in season 2016, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, looking forward to working with the Maryborough clubs closely, Shaun, throughout the season and also the Central Highlands Football League clubs and myself as well. And I've had a little bit to do with the Maryborough club so far this season, and it's been really enjoyable working closely with a few of those clubs. And obviously, being in this office for the last few years, I know a lot of the clubs quite well. So,
of course, you looked after the league at the turn of the decade as well.
Yeah, that was a few years ago now. But look, know a lot of the contacts really well. So, looking forward to getting out and meeting anyone that's taken on any new roles within each club at the start of this season. So, as I said before, it's a really exciting season ahead, and we know that Navarra have been the yardstick over the last few years, but I think there's a few teams that might challenge Navarra this year. Yeah,
it will be interesting to see. And with the shuffling of the deck chairs here, with obviously Liam moving into his new position and some shuffling around with some pre-season departures in the AFL Goldfields office, means there's a new chief in town for the MCDFL this year. A new operations manager, Jake Dunn, is the man that has taken over from Scott Carey as the MCDFL operations manager. If you haven't met him yet, you'll get to see him this Friday night at the season launch, but a very good operator is Dunny, and good to have him on as part of the AFL Goldfields team this year.
Yeah, it is, Shaun. He's done a really good job so far, and as many of you would be aware, Jake was with us last year, did a internship through Federation University, and ran the youth girls competition as well. So he's not really a new person to the office. He did spend a fair bit of time in the office last year. So Jake started I suppose officially with AFL Goldfields at the start of the season. He's done a really good job so far. I know that he's met many people from the club so far this year. Excuse me, but he's looking forward to Friday night, the season launch. And getting into the season.
Very much looking forward to seeing how Jake goes this year. Owes one or two blokes a couple of favours as well, given that a certain bloke that's on your screen at the moment kind of moved aside in the AFL Goldfield structure so he could get himself a full-time job. So we'll make sure that Dunny returns a couple of favours throughout the season. But you mentioned the season launch this Friday night at the Princes Park Social Rooms in Maryborough. What a night this is going to be. Not just kicking off the 2016 season with the big game between Rovers and Talbot that we'll talk about shortly, but also one of the very, very, very special guests, and this is a privilege. It will be a privilege to have Kevin Sheedy in the room on Friday night as the special guest speaker at the 2016 season launch.
Yeah, it will be, Shawnee. I think we all know, I suppose, the impact that Kevin has had on our great game, and I think it's great to have him speaking the day before the Farmers game at the MCG between Geelong and
country game,
and that was his idea. I think he came up with the idea last year, so it'd be interesting to hear a little bit more about that. We know that how big a role Sheeds played in getting Anzac Day up many years ago, so I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
Yeah, I ran into Sheeds in, I think it was November or something like that, for an RDFL meeting down at Essendon, and he was talking all excited about this country game, and it's great to see it come to life, and great to hear from him, and obviously talk about the country game and look back on his storied career with Richmond, Essendon, and of course the GWS Giants on Friday night when we kick off the 2016 MCDFNL season, and we do it with a Friday night football special at Princes Park this week. The Maryborough Rovers taking on Talbot in the first game of the season, and very interesting game this will be, Liam. A little bit of byplay between the two sides with some players crossing between the clubs, including Brendan Hedger, the Rovers' best and fairest last year, going down to Talbot this year. So that will make life very, very interesting, and I reckon this will be a pretty good game.
I think it'll be a very good game, and we know how important it is to have a win round one. Both teams will be going into this expecting to win. I was speaking to the Talbot coach Matthew Smith.
Yes.
He's been very happy with the way they've started their pre-season, the way they've trained, the way they've also played a couple of games as well. So as you mentioned, a few players moving from team to team. The name Hedger is a big name at the Rovers Football Club.
It is.
So,
I reckon Big Den's disowned him already.
So it'll be interesting to see what transpires Friday night. But I think it'll be a really good game, and two really big rivals that have played a lot of good games over the journey. So to have these two teams, I think, playing on a big stage as well, they probably haven't had many opportunities over the last little while to play in front of a massive crowd at Princess Park.
Yep.
So it's good that these two teams have been given this opportunity, and I think I'm sure they won't let the crowd down the way they perform.
Who takes home the Barras Melbourne Trophy on Friday night, Brad?
I'm tipping Talbot. I'm not too sure whether that's an upset or not, but I'm tipping Talbot. I think just speaking to a few people at their club, they're pretty confident leading into round one, the way they've trained, the way their pre-season's gone. So I'm tipping them in a very close one.
Talbot for mine as well. You're right, it will be a close one though, and Rovers do tend to do their best work at the start of the year. Looking forward to seeing Mitch Whelan go around for the Rovers this year. Then on to Saturday footy and a full round of footy starting out at Campbell's Creek this week. Campbell's Creek taking on Maldon, two teams that have flown a bit under the radar in this off-season so far. We haven't heard a lot from Campbell's Creek or Maldon, and it'll be interesting to watch this game and see how they both go.
Yeah, it will be, Shaun. I think both teams have sort of struggled in recent times. We know that Maldon had a fair bit of success a couple of years ago, but I think same as the Rovers and Talbot game, an opportunity for one of these teams to get an early win, and it's amazing how much confidence an early win provides a young group of players. So look, another game that I'm sure will go right into the wire, but I'm going to tip Campbell's Creek at home. Yeah,
Creek for mine as well. Obviously finalists last year. Maldon just a little bit off touch last year. Well done to Hayden Kelly, of course, Barry Powell medalist, along with Matthew Smith and Michael Dalrymple from Newstead last year. But from what I've heard, Hayden mightn't be around this year, and that sways things very much in the favour of Campbell's Creek for mine this weekend. Navarre taking on Carisbrook at the Navarre Sports Complex. The grand final rematch between the two dominant clubs, really of the last probably 3 seasons. These two teams have been right up there as the dominant clubs. Navarre 41 wins in a row to enter the season. New coaches this year with Ash Driscoll and Jaden Folks taking on the coaching roles at Navarre. Carisbrook, Timmy McKay still in charge, probably the biggest recruit of the off-season, with Jackson Bowen coming back to Carisbrook as well.
Just a huge recruit for the league, I think, as well. Look, I've seen Jackson play the last couple of years, and he played really well at BFL senior level last year. We know he also had a couple of opportunities at VFL level as well, and didn't disappoint. So for him to get back and to play in the Maribor League, he's great for the league, and I think he's going to give those Carisbrook midfielders first use of the footy for the whole year. That's going to be a massive advantage. Cole Ross-Scholar is also a player that didn't play the second half of the season last year with a crook hand, but I'm not too sure whether he'll play the first couple of rounds, but he will play as the season goes on, so he's a player to watch out for as well. He had a really good start of the season last year. As you said, Navarre, 41 wins in a row, been the benchmark for the last couple of years. New coaches, I think it's really good that they've provided some younger players with an opportunity to actually lead the club.
Especially when you consider that Daniel Parkin's still at the club, Brett Flood's still at the club, and I spoke to Parko pre-season, he said he'll be there to help out Ash and Jaden if needs, and Wayne Driscoll's still running the bench as well.
Yeah, it's a really, really smart way to go about it, I think, and look, good luck to those two new coaches, and to have players like Parko and Floody still there, and obviously Wayne Driscoll as well in the background will assist those new coaches. And I'm tipping Navarre here. I just think that the way they've played the last couple of years, I know the Carisbrook have recruited pretty well, but just Navarre's class all around the ground will be too much.
Hard to tip against a side that hasn't lost a game since the elimination final of 2013, so it's Navarre for mine to make it 42 in a row, and imagine if they raise the bat for the half century. That would be absolutely huge.
It would be.
Royal Park taking on Denali this week at Hedges Oval. Royal Park could be one of the big improvers of the season. AJ Beecham taking over as coach and really putting a fitness regime into the Bushy Boys over the pre-season. Denali have had their troubles, but they'll be taking to the park this weekend. Adam Pollock, of course, who's been fantastic in the last couple of years at Harcourt and at Campbell's Creek, taking over as coach of the Eagles this season. They'll be looking to get some real good solid form on the park round one, but they'll find it difficult against a Royal Park team that'll be cherry ripe for this game, Dodge.
Yeah, look, Royal Park, you're spot on. I think AJ has come into the club and really added a lot so far. He's coached at a high level, played at a high level, and I know that speaking to a few people around the Royal Park Footy Club, they're really impressed with what he's done so far. So I think they'll certainly improve as the year goes on. Denali, they've certainly, I suppose, got a lot of work to do from this time last year.
Yep.
I know they're working really hard off the field, which is great to see. Got a few new people around the club off the field, and I'm sure they'll improve throughout the season as well. But I think Royal Park, at home, under the new coach AJ Beecham, will be a bit too strong for the
Bushy for mine as well. Harcourt taking on Newstead. This will be an absolute ripper of a game as well. Some good players coming back to Newstead this year as well. They're looking strong once again. Some really good reports from their pre-season as well. Sammy Kerr, Jonty Entwistle really getting the job done. Michael Dalrymple, of course, won the Berry Powell medal at 19 years old last year. But Harcourt finalists last year got through to the second week of the finals. Sean Smith will have them absolutely humming once again. It'll be very interesting to see how both of these teams go about it.
Yeah, it will be. Newstead, Tom Rees, also back from Newstead as well.
Yes.
So,
used to be a footballer. Don't know if he can still play.
He did play in a premiership for Newstead a couple of years ago and kicked 40-50 goals a couple of years in a row. So he's an important player to get back. I think Harcourt might be a chance to win this at home, Sean. I think that both teams would be hoping to play finals this year.
Yep.
And I think at home they can get the points in round one.
Yeah, good luck to the Harcourt boys, and good luck to Norm out there as well. He'll certainly tell us if Harcourt are up and about. Don't worry about that. Another pretty good game to start the round as well. Natty Bialaba taking on Lexton at Natty Alec Reserve. These two teams both finishing in the top four last year, playing off in preliminary finals, and always give each other a good sight. Jared Bateson in charge at Natty this year.
Yep.
Matthew Brown in charge at Lexton, the man with the big shoulders that kicks a lot of goals. Very good game, this one coming up at Natty.
Yeah, good luck to Brownie. He's coaching debut, taking over the reins from Shane Fisher. Natty Bialaba seem to have a really distinct home ground advantage at home. When they play at home, they don't often get beaten. And I think that'll be the same this week against the Lexton side, who's got a few good recruits in the off-season. Brownie's a player that I think can have a real impact because he's a key forward. And when you're a coach and you play at either end of the ground, you can see that the game a lot better, I reckon, than playing through the midfield. You actually sit back and
you can see
and have a look what's happening. So I think Brownie will go well as coach, and best of luck to him.
Yeah, best of luck to both teams. Your tip?
Lexton. Sorry, Natty at home.
Yeah, Natty for mine as well. Last game for the round, under the lights at Trentham. Trentham taking on Avoca. Twilight fixture, very exciting one as well. Some good things happening pre-season down at Trentham this year. Very, very up and about with some of their recruits. Krista Spirit's a name that has been bandied about in some good circles. Half a chance that they might see Callum Wellings this week as well in the Trentham side, who injured himself pre-season training with the North Ballarat Rebels. Hasn't really got into a canter as yet, needs some footy time. Could be half a chance to play with Trentham this week. Avoca lost a few throughout the pre-season. Jamie Brody's come in and is a good coach and will give them an honest effort, but whether they've got the cattle this year, I'm not quite sure.
I suppose good luck to Jamie in his coaching debut with Avoca. Trentham, Callum Wellings, he would be a massive inclusion. He's played some really good footy over the last couple of years. Had a really good season with the Rebels last year. Hopefully can get fit and get back in the Rebels lineup. But if he plays, he'll be a bonus. Trentham, as you said, have had a really good pre-season, playing the Trentham Cup. And look, off-field, they're going really well. Troy Adams done a really good job as president there. So I'm tipping Trentham at home. Yeah,
Trentham at home for mine as well. That's all the time we've got for this week. Your comprehensive look through round one. Netball fans, we didn't forget you on purpose. Just stay tuned and wait around another 7 days because we've got something very, very special for the MCDFL Netball Fraternity starting next week. You're getting your own show. The MCDFL Netball Show will be here every month starting next week. Kim Bailey and myself will be here giving you all of the netball information on their own show. Footy Show will run separately and will be up every Wednesday throughout the 2016 season. Len, thanks for joining us this week, mate.
No worries, Shawnee. Best of luck for the rest of the year.
Hopefully we can get Sammy Gowers in here next week, and we might even bring the Chief Jake Dunn in to have a chat at some stage as well. Thank you for joining us as well on the MCDFNL Footy Show, proudly brought to you once again by Bendigo Bank, the major partner of the MCDFNL in 2016. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.